Hi everybody, it's Barbie at Nellie and Ruth Designs, and this video is all about week 4 in the Color Me Happy weekly prompt challenge hosted by Callie Crafty Pam and Cards by Teresa over on Instagram. And this is the last week, and it's the 2023 Feb Color Me Happy. That's the hashtag. And I have all of this down in my description. So if you want to take a look at the February prompts and do these on your own, I'm sure Pam and Teresa would be ecstatic that you joined in and did their challenge. It's a really nice weekly challenge. It's simple, it's easy. It's, if you want to get away from what you're working on, maybe you have a junk journal and you're just not, there's no creative juices flowing. Sometimes these challenges will get your mind at a different mindset, and then you can get back to your junk journal, which I need to do. But I want to finish this up. So this is week 4. It's February 19th through the 25th. So I'm kind of late. But I want to get it finished up. And this week, it's the color blue, a teacup, and a bird. So I happen to have all three, and I'm doing it this week. This is a 4x6 piece of watercolor paper that I've cut down because you can see I have my watercolors out here. I got my stamps out. And I also have this metallic luster wax that was my mom's. This goes back to the 70s. And I did find, I've been trying to scrape at it and figure out how to use it, but I tested it with my water and paintbrush, and that's the best way to use this. So I'm going to be using that as well. So I have a Tim Holtz stamp set here. That it's Stampers Anonymous. It is, what is this one called? Oh, I don't know if there's a name to it. I don't know, but it came with a stencil and then these fun, funky birds. And I made these on cards, greeting cards, and I really like using them. So that's the other thing with these challenges. You kind of, get reacquainted with your old friends that you haven't seen in a while. And it gives you a chance to pull things out that you kind of forgot about. So I'm going to be using a bird from there. And then I have 2 stamps from Red Lead. I think it's Red Lead Paperworks, but they have stamps. This one here, a bird will not fly with one wing. You can see I haven't even used this stamp yet. But I like this stamp because it's deep cut. But I will be using my VersaFine with this just to make sure it comes out good. And then the other stamp I have that I'm going to be using is this teacup stamp. I haven't been crazy about this. I did get this from Red Lead. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. I found that you really can't do much with it. I did some watercolor paint to it today. That's why I have the watercolor paper. I just did it on an old statement, credit card statement envelope, and it came out okay. So I think it'll actually come out better on the watercolor paper. So this is 4x6. And then this is the fun little stamp that I'm going to be using from Tim Holtz. One bird, a bird with one wing showing. And I thought that was appropriate for the sentiment. So we're going to start, and I guess I kind of have to do this around my sentiment, because I'm thinking if I have this up here on the right, I'm going to want the bird, kind of like this. So I kind of have to plan it out, but I'm not stamping this first. So I also have to think where I want to stamp my teacup, because I want the bird standing at the edge of the teacup. So we will give this a first try, first round. If it works, great. If not, I'll be cutting another piece of paper. And I'm even wondering maybe if I shouldn't get this inked up, stamp it a little bit first to get some of the ink off it, and then stamp it again. So I'm going to try that. I got to get a scrap of paper. Oh, let's see here. All right. Because maybe there's just too much ink for it to work. So if I stamp it lightly, and see, this is usually what happens. And then I stamp it again. Yeah, see, I'm not crazy about this stamp. I just don't think it's cut deep enough. My table is level, and I'm just not satisfied with the stamp, but I'll be darned. I'm going to use it. I'm going to, and I guess maybe if it only comes out like that, I can do some watercolor to bring it around. This is too light. I wouldn't do a third stamp. I would probably do a second stamp because the watercolor may work a little bit better on it. So I'm just going to wing it, and no pun intended there. And I'm just going to try it. All right. Yeah, it's the first time I ever bought a stamp, and I didn't like it. I've always been very happy with her stamps, but for some reason, I just don't think this is cut deep enough. And it just doesn't produce a good image. All right, so this is wet now, of course, because I used I have a little, I just wanted to get that ink up because I didn't know if it was going to set on my top here. All right, so let's give this the good old college try. This is watercolor where it's much smoother, or I mean watercolor paper that's much smoother. So let's get rid of some of that ink, and we're just going to give it a go. And I think I'll just let that set a minute. Give it another little press down. So you can kind of see, at first I thought, I brought out these bottle tree brush stamps. I thought maybe I might use them behind the teacup, but they got tossed aside. So you can see how things change. All right, so that's going to have to do. And I guess I will just take some watercolor and kind of maybe smush it out a little bit. But yeah, I don't like this stamp. So I don't know. I'm either going to have to play with it some more or just throw it back in my bin and forget about it. I don't know what, if you have any suggestions, let me know, because it's a very pretty stamp. And of course, when they stamped on their website, it was perfect. Wonder how many tries they had to do. And then I'm going to take my bird here. Maybe I'm wondering if I should put him over here, because I want to have this saying. I could put him maybe on this section of or maybe more in the middle of the cup. I like him over here though. If I had him here, then I could still stamp up to the top left. So I think maybe we'll do that. We'll put him, yeah, I still like him over kind of here, but, and if I don't like it, I'll just, there we go. I will just do it. I'll go in a different direction. And then I think I will put the, I'm going to wait because I think I might want to do some watercolor. I was thinking about possibly using this stencil here and maybe just adding some color, or I don't know. I need something on the side here. I have this stencil as well. This is Dina Wakely, and she has this stencil that possibly, and I can never get these out. I guess I'm just going to cut it. Maybe I could put this down the side. I don't know if I like that. I don't know. Let's get this colored up first, and then we'll just go from there. I'm going to cover my VersaFine up, and I'm going to put my stamp right there. Don't let me forget to use that stamp. So let's see. So we have on here, we have our flowers and our leaves. I'm not going to use the gold. I'd like to use the gold trim around the rim of the cup and down along here. And I'm not quite sure. I want to have the flowers pop, but it's so dark and muted. So it's blue, it's a teacup, blue, and a bird. So I think I'm going to use some of the blue. I got to stop saying It's a terrible, terrible habit. And I'm wondering, I think I'm going to put this on wet. So I'm going to grab another little brush because I inked that up too quickly. I'm just going to add some water to the base down here and then kind of let it, I don't know, this is either going to come out or it's going to be a total disaster. And then maybe I'll just let it do its thing down here. I'll add some water here to kind of maybe we'll just kind of follow this around a little bit. And I can take some of that water off of there. I'm no watercolor artist, believe me, but I can just kind of blend that in. I'll let that dry. I can come back to that. I kind of okay, I guess we can. All right, we'll keep it, leave it like that. Kind of come up and around here. All right. I just want to add a little bit of blue up in this area here. Just a little tint. All right, so that's going to be it for my blue, unless I do something with the bird. Unless I do something. So I want these flowers to be a little bit brighter. I think I will use, I think I'll get some red going here. I want them to be bright, but I want them to be muted too. I don't know how I'm going to do that. Let's see, so I can just, I'm not adding, I just want to put the watercolor on here. I'm not adding any water to these because I don't really want it to spread around. And then I can come back and maybe add a little bit of dark. Well, when I say dark, when it dries, I can add a little bit more color and maybe give it some dimension. I don't know how to add dimension. I think I know what I'm doing here, but all right, so I want to do, I'm going to work with the leaves now. I'm going to get that a chance to dry, and if it doesn't dry right straight away, I'll just take the little dryer to it. Whoops. So the leaves here, and again, I can come back and add some different, shading of the green. I'm trying to make the background kind of light here. And I think with the watercolors, it makes the stamp pop a little bit more. That's not my imagination. All right, so we have that, and then I can just make, I don't want to go too light. Maybe if I add a little bit of yellow, maybe that will lighten the leaves up, a little bit, but they'll still have that green tint. And then maybe on the tips, I'll add just a little bit of a darker green here if I can. Let's see. Or maybe down the stem here. I'm surprised I'm even doing this. I woke up at I woke up at 2 this morning and I had I think a tension headache. Hadn't turned into a migraine yet. So I took a couple Excedrin, which I don't like doing, and I was zinging. So I've been awake since 2 a.m. And I feel a little shaky because after that I did have a coffee this morning, which really it's not good for me to have all that caffeine. All right, so I think that's good there. I think that it actually made that coffee cup, come to life a little bit more. So maybe that stamp isn't as bad as I thought it was. So now what I want to do is get these paints out of here. I'm going to take this gold, the metallic luster wax royal coat. I wish there was a year on this. And I'm going to add, this is where I can add some water to this. And I can actually bring some up on my paintbrush. See how it makes a little well there? And I'm just going to get some on the edge, and I'm going to go right around the teacup here. I have teacups in my basement from my dad's first cousin, Chubby. Her name was May, but everybody called her Chubby through her years. She was not chubby. And when I was little, she had these beautiful teacups. And they're very old and vintage now. So they're down in my basement. And they have gold rims on them. And one in particular is a dark green. So this kind of reminds me of that. And I'm just going to put the gold here, the gold trim. So I think that's good. I don't want to overdo it. I just wish it was a little shinier. But probably the water and the stamp, the dark stamp dulls it. But so we have our gold rim teacup. And this is what the water looks like when I dabble you can see the gold flakes in there when I clean that off. So the bird is the word. I still would like to do something on the side. I don't know if I want to add maybe a little bit of washi tape. I've got black polka dot that might be kind of fun. And I have this here that would go with the pink. I don't really want to add, any hair to it. I have this here that maybe we could do something with. Maybe I could cut this out and maybe put it over to the side of the teacup. I could put that on a scrap paper, which I have here, and we could fussy cut around that. So if we just cut this out roughly, and I think what I'll do is I'm going to pause the video while I cut this, because you don't need to see me cut this flower here, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the rose cut, and I did pull another one off of this spool here. So I'm going to be using two because there's just too much white space there. So I think I'm going to put this one here like this, and you'll notice that I did cut in between here because with my X-Acto knife, because I do want it I mean, if it was real life, you'd be able to see part of that teacup. So I think I'm going to put that one there. And then I may just have to trim off at the bottom a little bit. And this I can put down over here. But I want to leave some room because I'm going to tuck the other one. I'm going to be tucking the other one underneath that area there. Okay, so that will go there. This one I'm going to take and I'm just going to tuck a little bit right here, I think, like that. I don't care if it goes over that little bud or not. I can have it maybe go like that, up like that, okay? And the washi tape is actually quite nice to cut out when you do have it on just a piece of typing paper, you know, or copy paper. So we're going to put that right about there like that. Some climbing roses there, and they look nice alongside the teacup, the pink and the teacup. Although these are kind of salmon color. I'm just going to snip this off like that. And then I'm going to take, looks like I need some more glue because I keep lifting this. Oh, I guess that'll be okay. This I need a little bit on this side here. Okay, take that down. So we have that. I still want to, maybe I'll make this a yellow canary. So let me get the paint on here. Actually, I don't want to put that on there yet because knowing me and my clumsiness, I would probably put my hand in that. I'm going to stamp the saying on here first. And I still think I'm going to put a little bit of washi tape on here. Okay, right there, that's good. And we're going to put this right about here. Okay. All right. Like I said, my clumsiness that ended up on the floor. So we're done with the stamping. So a bird will not fly with one wing. And I'm thinking we could take just a little bit of washi. I wish that ripped a little differently, but it didn't. This is where fingernails would come in handy. Okay. I'm going to pick this up so I can see it. We'll put a little bit there like that. We'll take this little spot and maybe I'll run it down here. Actually, maybe I'll run it right here. Right there. Yeah, that adds just a little tiny bit, so it kind of goes this way. And then we're going to make our bird a canary yellow. And I think that'll be pretty. So I kind of want this, I want them a little bit bright. I guess I can always go darker. Maybe we can go a little bit darker around around the inside here. Kind of looks like he has a coat on, doesn't it? And I think we will just give him, let's give him a little bit of a, because the flowers were kind of a peach color and pink, let's give him a peachy front. I have to pull this up a little bit so I can see. And then his bill, maybe we can make just a soft brown. Just to add a little bit of, but that's not really a, there. All right, so there you have it. I think this is done. I think this challenge is done, which I will say it was really a lot of fun. So we have our teacup, we have our blue, and we have our bird. So I'd love to have you tell me what you think about these three prompts, about the stamps. If you, I'm sure you have taken washi. I mean, a lot of girls do it. They take their washi and they cut around, fussy cut around it and add to it. So I really like this. I think it came out really cute. It'll be a nice addition to my book. So I would love to have you comment. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. And I can't wait for Pam. This is the conclusion of Pam and Teresa's February challenge. I'm not sure, every now and then they will surprise us and post another one. So again, all of Pam's information is in my description. And if you want to take these challenges on yourself, you can get all the information there. Pam is on Instagram. And I can't wait for her next challenge to come out because they are a lot of fun. So I want to thank everyone for joining in, and I will see you down the road. Okay, everybody. Bye-bye.